Okay, welcome to the basement challenge, which that's what I'm calling it anyway. I was joking around making comments about something that George the Antique Nomad had shown, and I said, I think I have one of those in the basement. And after a couple of comments, he was like, yeah, Sal, I'd like to see what's in your basement. Well, here's the start of it. So there's all kinds of odd bits. This must be, and look, it's a piece of wood. Must be off some piece of furniture, God knows where. You can see the dirt on it. I need to clean it up. I personally think that's just a really cool architectural piece that could be on a shelf. There's a baby cradle down here, but it's got to get repaired. My lovely and unfortunately broken chandelier. This came out of the neighbor's 1928 house, and they tossed it. It was supposed to come to me, and the workmen just threw it into the dumpster. And so they broke two of the arms. So if anybody knows where I can get replacement glass, please tell me, because it's just sitting down here getting dusty. Another cool hiding down here is there is this big thing, which it's long ago missing the turret, the posts. See, there's holes for that. My great uncle made this thing. It's been played with a lot. You can see a bit of water to it, water damage because it's been floated so much. And my great uncle made that. There's still a couple of these old toys down here that are old pieces, but it's a lot down here. This old workbench used to have some dials into it. It drains into the double sink. The double stone sink has had an issue. The old metal framing has collapsed, and so now the pipe underneath broke, so we've had to jury rig a hose to the drain for the washing machine. If anybody out there knows where on earth you can get the old metal stands for a big stone sink, put it in the comments, because I've been searching online. I'm finding nothing, and I really need that. We have two old dining room chairs that are probably going to have to go curbside. There's this chair, which I just love the back of it. I like all those little details, and it needs a new seat. It may or may not, there's no holes for caning. So this may have just had one of those old leather seats. I have my grandfather's table saw. All this leaning against here, this is a pie safe built out of a crate. Built by one of my grandfathers. There's an old box falling down here. I can't get a hold of that from here. Oh, there, let's turn the light on. Another little table that I got to deal with. This is some of the stuff that's like, it's too big to ship, so it's just here. And then there's this. And sadly, being down here, these are getting a little rusty, because it is a damp basement. These are all the old metal trucks. I had given my niece a bunch of them for her boys, and which I will not get rid of. I love sledding. I use my own old sleds. Now, a lot of this stuff, we'd had a problem with the old dryer, and the pipe was shot, so you're going to see a lot of lint dust. But I was telling George that there's old tins down here. I mean, they're full of stuff. So these are pretty common. Prince Albert is really pretty common. But there's an old Sanka one. You're not leaking, are you? No. Okay. Here's another old one. Ideal Coffee. And I should really see about emptying them, and a piece of trim work that probably goes to some part of the house, God knows where. You can see where Mirror Acid. It's like Miracle Grow, but it's made for azaleas and things like that. Don't ever let it leak. Don't ever leave it in the box and have it start leaking, because it will eat. Look at what it did to the metal. It will just eat it. You know, there's bits of old tools down here. There's another tin back there. I don't even know what's in some of this stuff. And, I mean, all of these shelves used to be completely packed. And you couldn't move down here. It was packed high. You couldn't see that wall. This big Celtic Cross is getting all dusty. And this needs to get out of here. Everybody laughed at me that I said I was bringing this home, because it's huge. It goes back under the pavilion tarp. But this is from Deb Mackey of White Horse Studios. I can't remember if I ever got her to sign the back of it or not. Hey, remember sliding on these monsters? You had no control. You spun like crazy. And over the years of hitting rocks and stuff, the bottom looks like that, so it hurts your butt. There's a neat old rocking chair under there. All this was to the top. To the top. All the way up. So, yeah, there's a lot. Still, here's the one flaw. I want to show you something that's been a pain in the neck. If anybody has some suggestions of how to fix this, I'd love to know. In 1935, they added on to the house. Do you see what these idiots used for the support beam? That is 5 2x4s. And you can see these two are together. But this one, here we go. Look at the difference there. It's sinking. It's sinking, and it has caused this one. There's a crack here. And there's another one. One of these further over has another crack. But these idiots used a bunch of 2x4s to support the entire back end of the house. What the hell were they thinking in 1935? They're nuts. All the problems I've had with this house have all been the addition from 1935. So, I like having an old house, but there's Insulated Staples. There's an old box of Superheads. I have to check those. Those are the caps to put on top of, I don't even know what that box is. Nice old wooden chair. But those are the caps that are for going on the electrical wiring. There's trim hiding in here. But some of the caps could be Bakelite. Like this, whoops, this box up here. I gotta reach it. I bet, considering how old those are, if I can get the lid off, they're kind of brown. They're not, focus. No focus? Focus. See? I think those smooth ones might be Bakelite. Here's another one. Now, Ideal was the brand for Acme back in the day. Here's the old one for ShopRite. Here is, look at this guy. This really cool oil can. I mean, there's stuff like Quick Plug. With that logo, when do you think that's from? The 60s? Just interesting shaped old jars. There's just so much just bizarre stuff. And this is the indoor outhouse. They tore the end of it off in order to put the modern windows in, which really was no fun. We have a giant desk here. There's all kinds of things hiding on the desk. Look at that, still on its card. There's the mirror acid I put in the thing. This came off a house in Rose Valley, PA. I have another one where we have part of a Thunderbird, and some of his parts are in here. There's all kinds of stuff. That other one is the Rose Valley Rose, so it's kind of the logo of the town. The house they came off of is no longer existing. I don't even know what's in these drawers. Glass. Ugh. Can't even get into all of them. No. I know somewhere down here, and it might be in one of these drawers, was an old wooden pulley. I got this out of my grandparents' house. But this part's plastic. This is all metal. And I've always wanted to like hang it out on the front porch. But it's such a neat pattern. Look at that. What cracks me up is, look, does anybody who's science fiction recognize that? Sure looks like Star Trek to me. But there's just all kinds of just little bits. So, craft down here when the basement was drier. Oh wait, there it is. I knew there was one around. I don't know what this is. I mean, it kind of looks like that should have maybe a flame coming out of it. You know what it is? Let me know. There's one of the big. I just saw these in Black Rose. Black Rose Antique Mall, and they had one, and they had the wood all polished up. I can't tell that maker's mark. And they had $36 to $48 on these big things. Now I got one just laying here doing nothing. There's assorted little wooden boxes. There's some of the original screens for the house, which I guess should go now because we got most of that redone. There's another old box. There's an old table that's unfortunately seen better days because of the damp. An old grinding wheel. And I know old tools can mean something. There's not a lot of them left, and my brothers took a lot, but there's still a few hiding in there. Now, I do have, you see that handle? That is an old scythe. There's at least one of those down here. Maybe two. I don't know what. You hear the fan. I keep a fan running down here just to keep it from getting too damp if we can. I have no idea what that kind of basket would be from. An old staple gun. So, you know, you can raid your basement. Don't be afraid to raid your basement. Look at this. Who is this? Genuine Mason. My mother used to do a lot of canning. This is cool. I love the graphics on that. Franklin glue. And there's still something in there. This is an old lantern. You used to have to pump these to build up the pressure. I've got two of them. I don't know if they're Coleman. I know there is a Coleman type that if this glass is bubbled out, if it's rounded, they can be worth a good bit of money. Lots of old canning jars. And more canning jars. And more canning jars. There's something to be said about, if I can get back in there, canning jars that are a number 13. I think that box was an old Canada Dry. This barrel has seen better days and this piece has come out of it. This freezer's died, so I need to get that out, but that desk is in the way. I have a couple of these. Does anybody remember these? They came in red, yellow, blue, creamy delicious on toast and bread, but walking something whip. Like, you tell how I have not been. Just says honey whip for waffles and biscuits. So it's some kind of honey spread. If anybody knows about these and what this is from, put it in the description for me, let me know. Now this, I like this old bookcase, but it's missing. There's no shelves to it. More jars. But what was I saying about the jars? Oh, there's something about a number 13. Apparently they should have a number on the bottom. Presto. I have no idea. But I know you guys could tell me and let me know. But we had this, and now you're in the 1911 part of the house. And there's even a Depression era bureau here. My mother tried to move it by herself, and of course it fell apart because the glue they used was nothing. I still have the square cut nails that came loose. And I'm probably the only one left in the house that knows how it goes together, because I do know basic carpentry. And I'd love to get it together sometime, but then I need to sell it to somebody. 1, I need the money. 2, I don't want to keep it. And 3, I'd rather it had a good home than a dumpster. And then I'm going to show you, just for fun, the hole. Like the original, this is the original 1911 exit to the house, to the basement. Look at this old wiring. Now, believe it or not, this 1911 stuff passed inspection. 1935, not so much. This is the hole. My brothers, it just goes back. They always wanted to dig this out and turn it into a rec room for us kids. And it just, some of the stones they've just kind of tossed in there now. They used to be all piled up here. One brother years ago stored some tires, which by now are no good because they've been sitting in here forever. But they thought they hit a dinosaur bone, and it turns out it was just a cow vertebrae. They thought they'd had something fantastic. That's a cool old tub. I haven't seen that kind with the handles like that. But this is my basement. And yeah, I'm well aware that this is an issue. Yeah, I was told, do not touch it. Just leave it be. Another nice old workbench back here. But if you hunt around in your own basement, you're liable to find stuff that'll surprise you. Because you never know what's hiding. And I have no idea what's hiding over in that pile anymore. But you can see some of the damp comes in from the wall there in the corner of the house, and it comes right to this old guy. I showed you a picture of the tree. Well, I am 3rd on the list for the tree cutters to come take it down. So that goal checked off. I have not written the check for the taxes yet, but I have the money now. I have all of about $28 more than I need for the tax bill. So I will be basically starting at $28 to get this baby replaced. This is the next goal. And if you're wondering why I'm showing it to you, because it's important to visually have a goal. We've talked about this in previous videos. You gotta have a goal. And this poor thing is held together on a wing and a prayer. The last time they were here, I had to sign a waiver for use at your own risk, because they can no longer repair the firebox. You could see even the door to the burners had rusted off. This thing's been repaired so many times since it was put in the very, very early 90s that it's done. But you gotta have a goal. You just gotta. So, okay, I'm hoping this is catching me, because though it won't let me flip around. Wait, That way better? There we go. But have a goal and start with your own house. You know, thrift shop in your own house. We all have that stuff packed away that, you know, we don't really want it. And well, now you've seen the basement. You've seen what a mess the basement is. But it wasn't like this before. This is tidier. It was packed pretty much to the ceiling in most sections. And we work on it off and on because down here isn't a big priority. But you saw the pictures of the heater. And as I mentioned, we've talked about how important it is to have a goal. You have to have a goal. You have to have something visual. I've talked to a couple other friends that have goals for things, and they said whether it is an idea board or whatever they call it that you hang on the wall, you have to have something that you see every day to help you keep focus on what you need. This has been great. I'm having fun doing this. I hope you're having fun watching. And I also hope you're finding inspiration in it, that it's not too late. Don't be overwhelmed. Start small. Work your way up to the bigger stuff. This basement's going to be a big job to get completely cleaned out, but this is one of those not a top priority. I mean, you've seen my living room. You understand what's a bigger priority is to actually have some more living space. I mean, even the kitchen has stuff in boxes under the kitchen table. That's how crazy it is here. But half of that's empty now too, because it's all gone online or it's gone out. So start small. Take a picture of what your next goal is. Stay focused. You can do this. We're in it together. I'm baring my house to you guys, showing you all the warts so far. So you can see that if I can do something with what I've got to deal with, you can do something with what you've got to deal with. Because I'm hoping you guys all have heat. I mean, we have heat, but for how long? That can't be repaired anymore if it falls apart. It's a damp basement, and it usually ends up crumbling at some point. Oh, sorry. Usually about 3 months into us using it, and the heat's already been kicking on, so. So, if you need inspiration, you're worried, put it in the comments. I'll answer you. I do read the comments. And I'm going to go wash the crud off my hands, because it's dirty down here. And I hope you have a good night, a safe weekend, a warm weekend, because here it's damp as can be and my knees are killing me. And I hope you have fun, and try to keep a smile on your face, because it certainly makes the day brighter. Bye!